Hey everyone, we are back to Melvin.
The fire you can't put out.
Thank you. This is the show for the last week of January, and the show is supposed to come out on Saturday. Actually, it says come out on Saturday, February the 1st. So here we
February
are.
2nd.
February 2nd? Okay, I'm all confused.
Groundhog Day.
Right, really? What?
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. Candlemas.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Pops his head out.
Okay, so just the quick housekeeping stuff. Again, we have a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is at facebook.com/TFYCPO. Say that again. It's facebook.com/TFYCPO, which stands for...
The fire you can't put out.
You know what? We're going to get hate mail for just that.
I know.
So, again, you can talk to us at, we have an email address, tfycpo@gmail.com. Say that again, tfycpo@gmail.com. I'm not going to do it this time. And you can find us on iTunes. There's a link on the Facebook page, and you can search for us on iTunes and just click subscribe.
Nah. Go ahead.
What?
Sorry.
What the heck is that?
I was just trying not to say it again. Go ahead. It's just now I hear my own melody in my head. I'm sorry. Go ahead, you guys.
Oh man. So okay. So once again, I need to thank the guys at the Open Sky Radio for hosting our show and for giving us so much help. And I just want to use this opportunity to preview something, but to announce something. Which it's pretty weird because it kind of has nothing to do with what's our show again, The Fire.
The fire you can't put out.
But since we have a lot of listeners in Hong Kong and they are Cantonese speaking, so I just want to say this. I also have a Cantonese podcast with Jo Lee. She is, I'm sorry. Yeah, our listeners in America would be like, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, the shows are in Cantonese, but, I have a Cantonese podcast on politics, Hong Kong, U.S. politics with Joe. And we're going to do a crossover with another show on Open Sky. And that show is about, ghost and, crazy spirit stories, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go to that show and tell ghost stories. So what's gonna happen is let me give a teaser. One of the ghost story is Obama related, or election related. And I'm not going to tell it this time because I want to. I'm going to tell it in Cantonese on that show. I want the Open Sky. I want the Cantonese speaking listeners to listen to it first because, our Cantonese Cantonese speaking listeners, is getting really complicated. Chances are they know English too, but the chances are our English or our American listeners, they don't know Cantonese. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense? So I want them to have that story first, and then I'm going to retell it in English. Next time in our next show. So stay tuned. It's not really, technically it's not really a ghost story, just a crazy coincidence. But anyway.
No, you got a good tease going there.
Good
Keep
teaser.
It, man.
Enough.
teaser.
Enough about
Stay tuned till next week.
Enough about my problems. So again.
Can I do a follow-up on something we did
Yes,
in our
ma'am.
last podcast?
Absolutely.
The Beyonce moment.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So someone I spend a bit of time with on Facebook, Greg White is
Right.
his name,
Right.
made a comment on the Ed Schultz show page today
Right.
about the Beyonce deal.
Yeah.
And actually had the thrill of having Ed actually read his comment on air.
Wow.
So I wanted to share it. Okay. So here's what he said. The haters are just mad because Willard lost and Meatloaf didn't get to torture the national anthem at the inauguration.
For
I
God's
love
sake.
it. Nicely done, Greg.
Oh, gosh.
Nice.
Either Meatloaf or Ted Nugent.
Oh, yeah. Either one would be.
That would not be good. So, okay. So all the housekeeping stuff we done that. So before we start our first topic, I just want to bring up a short one. I was watching a little bit of the Chuck Hagel hearing for Secretary of Defense. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I don't know what there's a couple of Republican senators are thinking. Namely John McCain and Lindsey Graham. The only thing I can think of is this is not even politics. This is beyond politics. This is personal.
Absolutely personal.
I think McCain is still really pissed about losing to Obama by a pretty wide margin. And Lindsey Graham, I don't know if you guys remember it, but they show I don't know who ran it, CNN or MSNBC or somebody have the footage. When like so was what's the guy's name? The guy who just lost the election. I forgot already. I'm sorry.
Mitt
I'm sorry, Mitt Romney.
I know
that was mean, but the Secret Service, right after the election, when they lose, right, when the losing candidate, Secret Service dropped their protection pretty much right away.
Dropped him on his head, right?
Right, so it's pretty much like after midnight. So what they showed last time in 2008 is, McCain, lost the election, made the speech with Sarah Palin. And God, I can't believe I just said Sarah Palin. And
thanks for dirtying our show.
Thank you. And then it showed them the next morning, right? No more Secret Service. So McCain is just driving home, and guess who's sitting right next to him? Lindsey Graham. So these two guys are tight. I'm telling you. All right. Yeah. So today, when Hagel was doing his thing, which is like everybody says, well, that is the equivalent of the first Obama debate. He's like really flat. He came out and he wasn't anticipating the other attacks and stuff. So
he did come off as the only adult in the room, and I think to anybody watching the hearings, he came off better. Yeah, he was being just accosted, especially by those two. But I think the way he handled himself, and they wanted yes and no answers, yes and no, answer the question, yes and no, and he goes no, he goes. I want to give you an actual answer, but they were stuck on this two-word culture thing. You're going to say yes or you're going to say no because you're going to give us a nice soundbite that we can use against you, blah, blah, blah. But he kept his cool through the whole thing, and good on him. Anybody with a set of eyeballs and a fair mind is going to say, hey, Hagel looks better to us than you two children do.
Well, I mean, yes. Just the mannerism is so awful. It's like this is high school. This is it's like the worst moments of high school. Yep. As in you're arguing like BS. You're just like, oh yes you are, no I'm not. Yes you are, oh I'm not. Just that kind of really immature stuff. It's ridiculous. Angela, what do you think?
I was appalled. But then I've been appalled a lot by just the lead up to these hearings.
Yeah.
So we had John Kerry and Chuck Hagel, both decorated war heroes.
Right.
And just within the past few days,
right.
His name escapes me.
Ted Cruz. I just need to remember.
Cruz.
I need to bring that up.
I should have known because Cruz is always associated with something sort of distasteful.
Ted Cruz is a senator one of the senators from Texas. One of the only 3 people voted against the confirmation of Kerry as a Secretary of State.
Right.
And Ted Cruz and Cornyn and Inhofe. Inhofe and Cornyn. Well, you can't expect. Nobody should expect anything more, right?
No.
Right. But Ted Cruz, he has to vote against him. And then he said Kerry and Hagel, they were never really friends of the military.
They're not friendly.
These guys are
to the U.S. military. They're decorated war heroes.
These guys were in the military, and these guys are in the freaking Vietnam War.
But does it take you right back to the swift boating?
Yeah, I don't understand how. How do
we do this?
Well, you know what? I don't understand. I mean, kind of go back to PR and politics. I don't understand who is advising these people,
because it's so utterly ridiculous that nobody's advising them. They live in an echo. They live in an echo chamber. And what I've learned about the gun debate and what I've learned about war is the only way to be accepted in this party is if you're pro-murder. That's it. They're never on the side of the victim. They're never on the side of the people being murdered. It's always if you've got your gun and you go kill, whether that be at home or in war. It's the only way to get accepted into the party. Now that I don't understand. Perhaps they're just advising each other. It's an echo chamber and that's it.
No, it's so ridiculous. I mean, how they handle this is like Ted Cruz, right? I mean, that thing will come back to hit him, because but
they'll cover it. They'll cover it. I mean, it's like when they swift boated Kerry.
Yeah.
There were they had all these people at the ready, handy to, cover it for them. And I mean, this is really related to a couple of other stories that we're taking care of tonight. We're going to bring up Frosty Freeze, or what is his name? Not Frosty.
No, it's Foster Freeze.
Foster
Freeze. You're close. Yeah,
I'm close. Foster Freeze.
So
we've got big money without apologies for what they say.
That's just crazy stuff. It's just, I don't know why. I don't know how. Senator is a high up national office, right?
Right.
How would somebody actually say something that ridiculous? I don't understand how they can sleep at night, and how they think. What do they think history will look at them? How do they think history will look at them?
They actually are trying to adjust history.
Yeah,
we their agenda and their message.
We make our own reality, right? Like that project for the New American Century.
Wikipedia is being completely rewritten by conservatives right now. It's not even a reliable source.
Well,
you do know the story about Sarah Palin.
Which one?
And Wikipedia. Right?
No, go ahead.
The Paul Revere story. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as she said that dumb thing she said about completely inaccurate thing she said about Paul Revere,
which Colbert took on so brilliantly.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And you know what? Who brought us Sarah Palin?
Yes,
John McCain.
Thank you, Senator McCain. I mean, the thing is, we're gonna kind of touch on in our next topic, but. Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, right? I mean, it's impossible to unseat somebody like that, in a place like South Carolina. It's just the politics of it. But, Arizona, there's...
The guy, isn't it, who interrupted our president?
No, that's Wilson, I think.
Yeah, that was Joe Wilson.
Yeah, Joe Wilson with the you lie thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it wouldn't that be...
But South Carolina, I have the right state.
Well, yeah, right. Wouldn't that be insane if somebody else pulled something like that, in the State of the Union this time? So, anyway, what I'm trying to say, is, John McCain is getting up there in age. He might just retire. But, if he doesn't, he decide to run again. Arizona is, is pretty red right now, but the demographic is changing. And I can totally see somebody like... hopefully I'm saying her name right, Kristen Sinema, the new congressman from the Phoenix area. I can totally see something like that. So somebody like that just work on unseating somebody like McCain, or even the other guy from Arizona. So anyway, let's...
Any state that elects Sarah Brewer.
No, Jan Brewer.
Jan Brewer.
Jan Brewer, that's it.
Sarah, I'm sorry, I'm stuck on that.
But Jan Brewer was the was kind of the incumbent at the get-go, because Jan Brewer was the governor because Napolitano went to become a Secretary of Homeland Defense, right? Right. So, which the name sounds wrong, Homeland Security.
I have had trouble with that name ever since they named that department name.
I don't know. It's like, this is not original thought. Some comedian said that, but it really sounds like something that's coming out of the History Channel.
Yes.
So, okay. So, let's get on to our first major topic. And we want to talk a little bit about this is kind of local and national all roll into one. We want to talk a little bit about our congressman here in Washington State Congressional District number 5.
Yep.
Kathy McMorris Rogers. And I think our listener will probably know her pretty well, but if you don't, listener somewhere else or in Hong Kong, she's always the only woman.
Well, she's the most powerful woman in the House right now. So she works side by side with John Boehner on everything.
So
whenever they have a photo op,
exactly.
There they are.
The guy with the unhealthy glow and the
orange man.
Yeah, and the don't insult orange like that.
Here's what is so striking about this in particular, because it's the Violence Against Women Act, which is one of those things that used to come up with some regularity, and it was never a controversial thing. They would pass it.
Pass 100 to nothing. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, really only the fringe morons would vote against it. See, the Violence Against Women Act, it provides federal resources for the investigation and prosecution of violent crimes against women. It's not but it was killed by the 112th Congress, and now it's looking like it's going to be killed by the 113th Congress. And since the last time it was taken down, Kathy McMorris has gained even more power. And so the Republicans now have a woman on their side helping them vote against it. Now, they're not coming right out and saying it that they're going to kill the bill, but they are, because they're not saying anything about it. They're being asked about it, and they're not saying anything. But we know what their attitudes is towards it. If it's anything that might potentially make the president look good or cost money, then we can't have it. And they've got a very prominent woman on their side. And they go, look, chicks, she's with us. You better get with us too, all right? I make jokes. It really looks bad, though.
Yeah.
If according to the Washington Post, it's technically been dead since September 2011 when Congress failed to reauthorize it.
Right.
But because the funding kept going, because the budgeting process is separate from reauthorization and Congress has continued to appropriate money, then it's there, but it's not there. It's so bizarre.
We hear the same argument. First of all, is that we don't have the money, which they never said that during the Bush years. Second of all, for the strengthening of the laws, they say, well, the law's it's already against the law to hit women. Well, yeah, it's against the law to hit anybody. It's called assault, but women are a little different in that respect, because what generally happens in a domestic violence relationship is it's most of the time it's the guy hitting the girl, and then she has to take the kids and go.
Right.
And yeah, she needs a little bit of extra protection. Guys are stronger than women. They're historically more aggressive than women, and are the aggressors in those situations. And yeah, we need to protect the women and the children in these situations. And even this, we all of a sudden can't seem to find money for. Now, if we brought up a bill and called it the Violence Against Women Act, that would be a war that they'd find money for.
I know. You know, the really awful thing about this world we live in. Well, that's a huge, encompassing thing. How much time do you have? But, okay, if you ask me, and I have read, papers on this and books on this, progress is great, but a lot of times the little progress that we made, somehow some people would use that to turn it around and say, so see, we made progress. What are you complaining about? That's the same thing with the race. It's the same thing with our LGBT, gay and lesbian brothers, sisters, right? Same thing with women's right. Yes, women can vote now. There's like 400 years. There's there's so much. We came so far. And then, somebody from the other side would say, well, we came so far, so what are you complaining about? But we're still not equal.
We're not. 4 years after the Lilly Ledbetter Act got signed, women are still fighting for equal pay.
Right. So
what is it, 62 cents on the dollar?
So
I think it might be in the 70s, but I mean,
70, yeah.
Even still, that's despicable.
Yeah, But
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, progress is great. Progress is awesome, but we're not there yet. And somehow one of the tactics to go against want to make more change is to cite the changes that already happened and says, well, it's right there, change right there. Don't you like it? You got a problem with it? We already, and I have to emphasize too, progress, rights, and all that stuff is not a zero-sum game. I'm sorry, zero-sum game. I'm gonna say that right. It's like it's like.
Well, it's like when the amendment passed saying, African American people cannot be slaves.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, for a series of years, we left that up to the states, and the states did a particularly bad job allowing Jim Crow laws to perpetuate.
Right.
But what the pushback was, well, they're not slaves anymore. They're free.
Right.
Yeah, they're free, but we are still doing these horrible things.
Yeah.
I mean, that underline the fact that they're really not free. They're not equal. We're disenfranchised.
Go ahead, Kevin.
And one would argue that slavery has always been with us, and it's still now. Because then we kind of
we've outsourced it.
No, we spread into this. We spread into the second topic that we're going to talk about. Probably is immigration. We do have slavery going on here now. And we can argue. Yeah, we can argue about the level or the nature of that slavery. We do have it. They are called illegal immigrants.
Yes.
Right now in our country.
Move to that topic.
Yeah. So
let me talk about the two Republican strong objections to the Violence Against Women Act. And let me just bounce these off you and see what you think.
Yeah.
Okay, they've raised strong objections to a provision in the Senate bill that would allow Native American tribal courts to prosecute non-Native perpetrators, which they believe is unconstitutional. The GOP version would allow Native Americans to apply for a protection order in U.S. district courts, even if the abuse happens on Native American land. That seems like a really picky.
It's a relatively. I don't want to choose the wrong words here, but it's a relatively minor thing within the really huge deal.
So take a look at this one.
Yeah.
Republicans have also objected to adding non-discrimination for LGBT victims receiving social services funded by the Violence Against Women Act, arguing that it was simply a political statement in an election year. Okay? And you brought up Kathy McMorris Rodgers.
Right.
So I'm going to insert her back into this conversation because she is the person who is meeting with the Tulalip tribes in Washington State. She's ready to get a team together to further explore what type of language would fit that Republicans would feel comfortable with.
Right.
And the young woman, Deborah Parker, who's meeting with her, was a victim of domestic sexual assault as a young child. Right. Okay, and they are trusting this to Kathy McMorris Rodgers.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Input, guys?
So, yeah.
Is she doing any town halls in Spokane anytime soon?
I don't think so.
Well, did you see the video of the one she kind of did?
I haven't. I'd imagine she's afraid of her own constituency.
People without are you talking about the people? She said people without insurance can go to the ER.
Yes.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so our touch. I mean, she's actually never really around that much. I mean, she comes in for photo ops. With veterans and stuff.
Well, she's not there to serve you people. Quite honestly.
Thanks for saying you people.
She's not. She's not there for the people of Spokane.
Well,
she's really just towing the hard Republican line right now. I don't even know what's so freaking great about her. How she keeps getting voted in.
She stands up there with that smarmy smile of hers, and I really get a little bit ticked off.
So, how do we even unseat or work locally, try to unseat somebody like that, somebody like Kathy McMorris, that we're not at all happy about?
Big money.
A lot of money, right? It needs to
we need
money.
Bill Gates. Somebody like
right.
Bill Gates.
Unfortunately, being a progressive doesn't pay a lot.
No, it doesn't.
So we would really need somebody with a lot of name recognition to run against her, like maybe Ron Reagan Jr.
Yeah,
but
I say, you know what? Hey, that kind of a name.
Kucinich?
I mean,
Did you guys mention Kucinich in a...
Dennis Kucinich. Well, I mean that's just
he doesn't live in Washington yet, does he?
No, and
he visited here quite a few times because I heard he was going to run for a seat here.
Yeah, he's actually, there's a picture of him in one of my favorite vegan Thai restaurant in Seattle. But so he has been there several times. But if he runs, Dennis Kucinich, Dennis Kucinich probably cannot win anything in Eastern Washington. Let's face it. But in Western Washington,
that leads right into our gerrymandering.
No, but Western Washington, he's a sure win in most of the districts, right? So. Right. Yeah, I guess Spokane is odd because we used to have, gosh, we're so bad with names tonight. Tom, used to be the Speaker of the House.
Oh, yes.
I'm blanking
Foley.
as well.
Tom Foley.
Tom Foley.
What's wrong with us?
Okay.
We used to have Tom Foley, right? And it's a huge Democratic name, and then. He got beat by Nethercutt, I remember. So was that right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this district used to be in Democratic hands, and then he lost it, and then 20 some odd years ago, and that was it. It's not even close. Never been close. And granted, 20 years ago the politics is a little bit different. And blue is not so much bluer, red is not so much redder, back then. But after you remember what happened. Clinton became the president, and you can argue that the outside went nuts. So I guess. Sorry, me talking a lot today. What's going on? So
no, hey, that's great. Hey, allow me to jump into the next subject because this week.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, I think working grassroots locally is really important. Rich Cowan got only 40%, 39. I think 39. Well, let's just say round it up and say 40. We got 40% of the vote. By working so hard. So I think there is hope. You never know what's going to happen.
He has some name recognition now. Maybe he can run again.
Northwest, yeah. And, you never know. I mean, there could be,
Or somebody beg Ron Reagan Jr.
Or there could be, some kind of, I'm going to say this really carefully. It could be some kind of scandal. I mean, it could be, you never know. In politics, you never know what the X factor is. So, are we counting on that? No. But they can always happen. You understand what I'm talking about, right? So something legally is wrong with Kathy McMorris or something.
You mean despite the fact that her pockets are lined with corporate money?
Yeah. So it sounds pretty tough right now in Spokane. For Democrats and try to unseat her, but. You never say never. So I think what's very important because I did volunteer a whole lot for the Spokane County Democrats. I think we should start now. I think we should start. I know the next election is not until we have
it's next year.
21 months, right? Is that right? 22 months. So yeah, hopefully in 2014. We would have from now until then we'll have enough time to convince enough people that she is really going against our benefit a lot of times because this is Spokane. There is a lot of money here, but most of the people are not well off. No. And it's Republicans are just going out of their way to work against people who are not well off. And I think if we start talking sense to to the people we know and to the people that we might know or people that we don't even know, and there would be a chance that we might convince enough people to think otherwise, to vote
right.
just by habit, vote habitually, Well, I mean, aren't you lucky Melvin, in your neck of the woods, you don't have to deal with this. But
you know what? It's really interesting to me what I've learned about living over here in Western Oregon. We've got sort of the same thing that Washington has. Western Washington and Eastern Washington are essentially two completely different states. And down here in Oregon, it's the exact same thing. I've even heard outsider talk, about Western Washington, Western Oregon, a state, and then, let those other East Siders have their thing too, because you go to the other side of Oregon, you'd swear that that's not the state that Portland resides in.
Right.
I believe they wanted to add part of Idaho to that.
Well, anyway, so yet to be seen, but I think this is one of these weird things that, I think somebody need to. Because the last, other than the Rich Cowan last election, the couple of times before, it seems like nobody, not even like the local Democrats, know who's running against Kathy McMorris. These guys are like not, I think Darryl Romaine didn't spend a lot of money on even signs. And then the guy before, they're just not really appealing. So it's like they're giving up. They're like, they're almost like Democrats in, the Deep South. They just kind of give up, They're not even feeling a candidate. It's kind of feel like that. So somebody need to step up like now to say.
Politics makes strange bedfellows of us all.
What do you mean?
Okay. So I'm not going to name real specifics here, but
okay.
My husband is in a field.
Yes.
That
as fake as possible, please.
Has had various bills,
yes,
and issues come up that they needed support for, both on a federal level and on a state level.
Right.
So, and actually, as recently as today, my husband was in Olympia.
Right.
So kind of fun. So I have a funny story to tell.
Go ahead.
A few years ago, Steve went to a meetup with Kathy McMorris Rogers at the Davenport Hotel.
Right. Where else? Where else? It's not going to be the Motel 6.
It's also where Dick Cheney came.
It's not going to be the trade wind. That, yeah.
No, it's not. Which, interesting story about the trade winds.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we'll have to bring that up some point. But Kathy McMorris Rogers was having a meetup with people. Various people could come and so forth and support Kathy McMorris Rogers and so forth at the Davenport. Steve had one mode of transportation available to him that day, and it was our daughter's car. Our daughter is as outspoken as I am.
Right.
About politics, okay? She drove a Saab, an old Saab, and on the back window were two stickers. And this was during the Bush administration. One said, impeach Bush. The other one said, Bush sucks. And that was the only transportation he had and the only parking space he could find right in front of the Davenport.
Oh, awesome.
And we have laughed about that one for years.
Awesome.
Okay.
Saab.
Saab.
Where do you get parts? Because they are like all the way.
Oh, there's a wonderful.
I'm just kidding. Always like tease my Saab driving buddies. Like, where do you get parts? They are way over there. So, well, anyway, then let's move on to the second topic, which we already said what we're going to say: immigration.
Immigration.
So they call it the miraculous alliance between the Republican and the Democratic senators.
It is not a sexy topic,
Right.
but this week it is because they have joined forces.
Yeah, big deal. I think. I mean, it's like they used to work together all the time. I feel very strongly about this because I am an immigrant, and I am a legal immigrant. But the process it takes a long time. For me personally, it wasn't. It took a long time, but there was never really serious problems here and there. But for some people, it caused a lot of pain. It caused a lot of separation of families. I've even heard cases it destroyed marriages because like people just can't wait that long.
Obama brought up a really good point. He said, unless you're a Native American, we're all immigrants. My dad's family all came from Ireland. My mom's family, actually, they're all Native Americans, so they were already. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if you look back at your family's history, I mean, everybody came from somewhere. That's what made America great.
Right.
Kevin, you brought up a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember if it was on the show or if it was just when we had the mics off, but you go, what is their problem with immigrants? Everybody uses them. They're everywhere. And see, I'm a driver for a living, and I deliver to a lot of job sites. And I've noticed, when you said that, it stuck in my head. And every time I visited a job site, my eyes were open a little wider, and I started looking around, and I said, you know what? With the exception of maybe the project managers, I'd say about 80%, 80% easy of the guys on these job sites. Yeah. It's pretty obvious that they haven't lived in America their entire lives, and most of them don't even speak English. And I go, you know what? These are the same guys, and they generally they've got the mitten sticker on the back of their car, and the I don't believe the liberal media sticker on the back of their truck or whatever. The guys that are running these jobs, but they've got no problem hiring these guys, and I know why they're hiring them. We've got plenty of labor here in America, but they're hiring them because they can hang over their heads. Hey, we'll hire you for $5 an hour, whatever, and you keep it under the table. You don't say anything, I won't say anything, and they so badly want to be here in America, and bless their hearts, that they go for it.
Hopefully, this is not offensive to our African American brothers and sisters, but this is a form of slavery. It's just of a different nature, but you
realize that they're holding up that they're propping up the Social Security system.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of them are contributing.
Right. Yes, but they don't ever get it.
But they can't collect.
Well, let me bring in a really rudimentary thing. I mean, these people keep saying, "Wow, illegal immigrants, they don't pay taxes." They do. Everybody pays sales tax.
How in the world do you? Well, they pay sales tax.
Yeah.
But they're also there's also a great system of, and when I say great, I don't mean good. There's also this system that is very sophisticated where they are issued Social Security numbers that are not legitimate.
Yeah.
But they're doing that so that the employers aren't caught for tax fraud.
Right.
And I do mean we need scare quotes around that.
Yes.
Because they are pulling Social Security out of their checks and paying it into the system so they're not caught.
Right.
Sales tax, if they're renting a house or an apartment, and I'm sure they are because they need a place to live, they're paying property taxes too.
If they're buying stuff at Walmart, if they're buying stuff at wherever.
I mean,
anything with the exception of food, they're paying taxes.
And they're like, there are arguments out there that make it feel like being an illegal immigrant is such a great thing. You got free this, free health care, free education. Not so. Are you kidding? No.
Where do they get the free education and health care?
Oh, they health care.
Hey, we don't get that.
Yeah. But the free health care, as in, since they have no insurance, right? They will go into ER when something goes wrong. Free education is
they're going to the public school.
Yeah, it's public school. But that's the kind of stuff that needs to happen. That's the kind of stuff that what are you going to do with when the illegal immigrants, they have kids? They're just going to run around without them going to school. And I'm just going to say it. I am a legal immigrant. I went through a lot, a lot of years, a lot of paperwork, a lot of everything to get to where I am right now. I am an American citizen. But I am totally for amnesty. If not complete amnesty, I'm for some kind of amnesty, because only amnesty can cure this problem right now.
When did amnesty become a dirty word?
I don't understand.
Well, this is also one of those things where the same people that are complaining that we don't have money we don't have money for anything, really, but we've got money to build the dang fence, as they say. And we've got money
which is worthless. Have you seen what they do at the fence? They push drugs through it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I saw where they built a ramp over. We got money for that. We've also got money to put all kinds of people down on the border. We've got money for Obama to send people out, to kick in doors and throw people south again. Hey, all of that stuff costs money too. If the conservatives are really concerned about our financial situation, they can stop kicking people out of the country.
Well, this problem is not going to be solved if, on one hand, you say these people violated the law. They violated the law. They're illegals and blah blah blah. They are criminals in a way. They should get out. And on the other hand, when you need somebody to do work for you, you quietly says, well, let's do work for me. It can't solve the problem if you want to have it both ways. Where did everybody go? Am I making sense?
Yes, you're making sense. I was going to ask you what you think of the earned citizenship path.
I think it's just a stopgap. I think it needs to, the whole process needs to be faster. I have to look into it, but right now,
background check.
Yeah, right now the background check probably needs to be done FBI, but
pay taxes and pay a penalty.
Right, but right now, I need to check the number, but I think citizenship it takes about $750 to apply.
Okay.
The application takes $750, I think $750 or $800. They have to do all the biometric stuff. So it's not like I just walk into DMV or something and fill out a form and that's it. There's a lot of money involved here. So,
money and time. So with the talks this week, the Republicans came out and they go, yes, we're willing to tackle the subject now, especially on the heels of losing the last election, because they realize that they're not going to win any elections without gerrymandering. They're not going to win an election unless they start finding a way to get more Latino votes. So they say, okay, we will talk about immigration. It's finally time to talk about immigration. And I think that they're thinking that with the demographic shift, they'll go, well, okay, all they want is to hear us say, yes, we are for you.
Well, but that's not...
Now, hold on. But they're assuming that they're going to get Latino votes by saying that. Now, obviously, Latinos aren't the only, immigrants that we have here. But they say, well, we'll get the Latino vote if we say, we want you here. But here's the thing. Latinos, especially, are with Democrats on pretty much everything. And so these guys, throwing them a bone and going, hey, we'll talk immigration. Why don't you vote for us? No, because you still don't want them to have health care. Like, you don't want us to have health care. You still don't want them to have education. Like, you don't want us to have education. You don't want jobs programs. Like, we too want jobs. I mean, all the stuff the Democrats want. See, so, I mean, it's something that they're doing, and they're doing it in vain because they're not going to get the Latinos to come to their side.
But even...
it's not enough to... Go ahead.
Yeah, and the Republicans are calling this path amnesty, and rejecting it on the grounds that it would ignore the rule of law and encourage more illegal immigration.
I've actually heard this half a dozen times. They said, we're willing to talk, but if your policy starts getting too liberal, we'll back out of the talks. You know what, guys?
Secure the borders.
Secure
the borders. I keep hearing that.
Back out of the talks right now, because really you're fooling yourselves. This is not how you're going to win elections.
Well,
who's one of the big, I'm sorry, but who's one of the big Republican voices? He himself is from a family recently immigrated.
Marco Rubio.
Yes.
I was listening to Bill O'Reilly earlier, and Bill O'Reilly goes, hey, immigration, you know what? We should listen to Marco Rubio. And then he goes, we should all listen to God, I forget the other two names, but here's the thing. They were these really obscure names that I'd never heard of before, and I looked them up, and they just happened to both be Latino also. And I go, oh, I see what Billo's doing. He's going, look, these brown people are saying it. You brown people should listen to what these brown people are saying.
You know, I mean, there's, we kind of, a lot of times, just because of the language and everything, we fall into the trap. Even the media fall into the trap, and the other side of the Republicans definitely fall into the trap, is that they talk about the Latinos in a really monolithical way, as in this bunch of people is just one bunch of people. They all think the same.
Cubans are very disparate from South Americans, are very disparate from Mexicans, and I think very disparate from
I mean, Asians, right?
Yeah,
like us, right? So a big difference between. Japanese and Koreans and Chinese and Vietnamese and Laotians and Cambodians, but they a lot of times because of the language or because you only have time to say that many words. A lot of times it's just Asian, just one block of people. Right. And same thing's happening to Latinos because there are a lot of there are a lot of interweaving issues.
Right.
And the Democratic Party need to work hard to work those out because, many Latinos are also Catholic, and Catholics are then with the Catholicism more than American Catholicism. That there's this abortion issue. That they potentially become a wedge issue.
Conservatism.
Yeah. So how do you balance that? How do you talk to them about, okay, yes, we have this difference, but we are primarily the party who is for immigrant rights. They are not. The Democrats need to do work on that front.
Did you notice that learning English was inserted into this path to earn citizenship?
I did not know that. Thanks for letting me know.
There it is.
Okay. Actually, learning. I'm not opposed to learning English, because yes, the reality is English is the most common language in the US.
If you want to call it.
Right? One of the most important things to me.
I might be in mistake there, but yeah.
One of the most important things about the proposal to me. And I've heard it mentioned a lot of times, we don't have an illegal immigration problem. We've got an illegal employer problem. So the same guys that are screaming about how all these people, these brown people are coming here and taking our jobs, but they're giving them the jobs. Well, if you crack down on the people that are hiring them, and instead of cracking down on the workers themselves, they're coming here for this. Immigrants are coming here for the same reason that a lot of people are coming here, and the reason we stay here, because they want the American dream, and we're all in love with that idea, and certainly they're going to get it better here than perhaps down in a country where they're.
You're in a country where you can't make a living for your family.
And
right across the border is this country where you can.
Well, you can, right.
Let's go. Hold on.
A lot of them come here and send their money back to Mexico.
Yes,
to their family.
I know a whole family.
They're very family oriented. Yes.
I'm not buying that their illegal employers thing. So it's either the illegal immigrants' fault or the illegal employers' fault. It's more. The problem is more complicated than that. It's a back and forth. And guess what? The reason that I don't buy that argument is, at the end, the people who are getting screwed are still the illegal immigrants. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. Well, could we stop calling them illegals?
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's
Well, the one nice thing about this coming up now, because I'm used to this subject only coming up during an election year, in the heat of an election. So it's nice it's coming up right now, and there's no election this year. It's like, hey, you know what? This is an issue for us all the time, and they're bringing it up now.
I think.
Well, it's because they want votes.
I think there is. What? What? There's
because they want votes. Well, good luck with that.
That's a great segue here.
I am sorry.
They're going to have to go left on every issue. This isn't going to work.
I'm sorry. That is one of the way to gain votes is to work for the benefit of a demographic.
Yes, it is.
That's how you do it, okay? You know,
because okay, and this is going to take us straight into the other
topic.
So we need to finish.
Yeah, so let's finish this one. You know, I would say let's talk about amnesty, because it's not, there's nothing else can solve this problem really, and you know you can.
But it isn't amnesty.
I mean, this
what our president is proposing, and that really chafes my eye that the Republicans are calling it amnesty.
I'm only trying to own the word like we own Obamacare now.
Yeah,
you know?
Go ahead.
No, because the path that he's laid out is a long process.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a background check, paying taxes, paying penalties,
you know,
learning English.
It's not as long as
the back of the line.
Yeah.
Right. It's not as long as the current line. It's much more streamlined.
Yes,
and
but
that's
it's
the
still
important
not
thing.
amnesty. It's not just
waving
a magic wand and saying, "I declare
no, it's
you
not.
all citizens."
It's not. There are a lot of procedural stuff that needs to go on here. But
I wish just once that something this president does could actually be stated in the words that are correct.
Right.
Sorry.
You know, I mean.
No, good.
Yeah, I mean, these people are already here. They are already part of the American fabric.
Yes,
you know?
they are.
And it just make no sense to disregard them as a permanent underclass. It's just one, heartbreaking. Two, is inhumane. You know, especially their kids who they haven't done anything wrong.
They didn't do anything. They were born here or they were brought here.
Give them a chance. Give them a chance to belong to this country, because they already do.
Right.
So anyway, sorry, Melvin.
No, that's fine. The Republicans, obviously, their biggest concern about this, as it is with anything that makes people socially mobile, is if we start allowing them to become citizens and we start giving them rights, the right to vote and things of that nature, as soon as they start getting rights, you know, they're going to start demanding more social mobility. More social mobility is going to lead to the Republicans becoming less and less prominent in America. They've already got, I mean, there are workshops going on right now that are teaching Republicans how to talk about women. Look, guys, if you're going to say rape, make sure you say it's a crime and it's a terrible thing, and that's all you say about it. Like, they actually have to learn these things.
It's legitimate rape.
Right, that's the kind of thing that's getting them in trouble. And if we start granting amnesty to immigrants, then they're going to go, look, you guys wanted to build a fence, an electric fence, like 20 feet high. You thought that was a great idea. You thought that was humane. No, we're not going to vote for you. They can't have another group of constituents against them. They don't want to give them rights, because they give them rights, they're going to want more rights. And eventually, the Republican Party is going to have to either change, that's not going to happen, or fade into obscurity. Go the way of the Whig Party. You know, the Democrats need a formidable opposition party, but the guys that are doing it right now, those guys are nuts. Those guys aren't even thinking. They don't even live in the reality-based world.
They are pretty fringed. I mean, even if you ask somebody, if we have a time machine and give them this scenario, and fly back 30 years, give them this scenario, and they would be like, well, these people are on the fringe. It's not even anywhere close to being. Should be what a mainstream party is supposed to be.
Right.
Well, you know what? Let's move on to the third one.
Bring back the Eisenhower Republican Party. Vote for Eisenhower. Vote for peace.
We
like Ike.
All right, let's go. We are we are already 56 minutes. So the gerrymandering.
Well, let's just bring his name right up.
Yeah.
Okay. Mega donor. Foster Freeze.
For Rick Sanatorium, right?
Rick Sanatorium.
Yeah, that's exactly how we say his name, exactly.
Sanatorium.
Just don't Google it. Do not Google it, okay?
No. Google Sanatorium. Now. Go. hey, you can pause the show and come back.
I'll give you time. Google Sanatorium. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Welcome back.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Ahead. I want you to know that this mega donor who supported Rick Santorum, here's what he thinks of inner city people. Votes from center cities should be discounted when considering who won the mandate in November's elections. Urban votes are insufficiently in tune with the pro-free market movement.
Here's the thing about gerrymandering. They're now with the most recent election that we had, if you'll notice, the Bain issue came up right away at the beginning of the year. That surprised me because I really thought that was going to come up at the end. And Newt Gingrich even made a movie, When Bain Comes to Town, released it in February of last year. So they got the Bain thing out of the way right away. And when Romney still had a ton of support, they went, you know what? Even with his Bain record, we can still win. And when it came up later in the year, at September and October, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody cared. They're like, whatever, that's yesterday's news. And so that's what they're doing, I think, with the gerrymandering issue. They're bringing it up right now, and people are disgusted. And most state governors, because it's like 10 blue states they want to do this in, most of those governors have started backing off against it. The most recent one, who I never thought would back off of it, was Michigan. Michigan has now backed off of it now, but here's the thing. They're just testing the waters right now. They're testing them nice and early right now. I think this issue is going to die out again, and then it's going to come up later, and people will be, so what? Not a big deal. I mean, hasn't that issue gone by the wayside yet? And of course, gerrymandering, they would do it the same way that they do the House. It would go by congressional districts. They would split up the electoral votes by congressional districts. I've got a plan to remedy that right now. Get rid of the Electoral College, and we simply vote him in by simple majority.
But that's not the only thing. That's not the end of the discussion, because part of gerrymandering too is they're trying to gerrymander the state districts.
Yes.
The state district, the state representative and senator district.
Redrawing the state lines.
No. State houses. So, like many states, right, like Virginia, it's so overwhelmingly Republican now that they can pass all kinds of, rules and regulations that would affect the state elections and the general elections. As in stuff like, okay, well, say the Massachusetts case, we have Kerry going, okay, so who's going to appoint the senator? Who is going to have the power to appoint a senator? That sort of stuff. Or in the case of Virginia, if the state decided to go to that as a proportional electoral college electoral vote thing, the state's going to make the call. So if they gerrymander the state districts too, they're going to have a lot more power.
Well, here's the deal. If you go according to the plan proposed by Foster Friess, and others, then you could have a guy like Romney who doesn't win the popular vote.
Yeah, he got 47%. He got 47%, but he would be our current president under their plan.
Right.
Because what their point is this: center cities should be discounted. Center cities, of course, are overwhelmingly what party?
Democratic.
Yeah.
Right.
Easily.
Or he says
this.
Or according to the Republicans, the Democrat Party.
Right, the Democrat.
Oh, yeah. I hate when they call it that.
Totally.
That's why I call Boner, because you know what? That's his name. As long as you call it the Democrat Party, your name is Boner.
Well, if you're on Facebook, they call you libtard. So, okay.
So it's very.
In the center cities, do you know what Foster Friess says?
Go ahead.
The problem is a lack of entrepreneurship in these center cities. Because Americans, okay, can I just put this in George W. Bush terms?
Yeah, go ahead.
Americans want people who believe in free markets.
That's a code word right there.
It is. It's a code word. It's a code word for what, Kevin?
What? Racism.
Yes.
Well, it is. Angela, you made a great point about this earlier because what you said earlier is that Foster Friess is making the case for what we had for voting rules, only white wealthy landowners now get to vote.
Well, that's not. Wait a minute.
We're going back to what the founders originally thought.
Right.
Which is scary stuff.
Sounds so vague.
And there was a point in time when African American people were counted as how much?
3/5 human beings.
Exactly.
3/5.
So
exactly.
It's not an accident. None of this.
No, it's not an accident.
It's all by design. So insane.
But for people who don't know their own history, this might sound like a great idea. What a great innovative way of doing things. Let's try that for a little while.
This is so.
And this goes back to our earlier topic. He said that Democrats seduced women into believing that the GOP was waging a war on women.
Okay.
You know what?
He's got
the first part right. We seduce women. Ain't no way about it.
That's one way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's wrong about the second part. Come on.
Because women are easily seduced.
This is okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's roll back a little bit to the immigrant thing. I mean, to me, it's nothing new. Somebody try to define American. It's nothing new to me because that happens every damn day. I don't think you can. No. You can actually definitively define.
America is the melting pot.
But now he's he's basically trying to define America as people who vote, who is only on his side.
Those who have.
Right. And people in the city, they're not Americans because of whatever. That is so blatantly.
What goes on in the middle of a city? Tell me what goes on in the middle of a city.
People go to work and then go home and go to sleep and go to work again.
Yeah, but what kinds of things do you find in the middle of the city?
Culture, art, shopping, apartments,
better Chinese food.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is so blatantly offensive that insane and offensive that say only certain part of America is America.
So same deal. They're trying it now. They're going to let everyone get out their outrage. It's gonna quiet down for a little bit, and then they're going to bring this up again later, then nobody's going to care. I think
we need to start from the ground up. We need to have a broader definition of America. I mean, it's just this because it's ridiculous to say, right? It's the year 2013, but when you say American. The image that is almost being put forth, it's so out of date.
Old white guy?
Right. Yep. It's so out of date. America means so much more. It should mean so much more back then, and it definitely should mean so much more right now.
Well, if I could just bring up one white guy who's taking this on.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Matt Shea.
Oh.
Republican from Spokane Valley, said the bill he's sponsoring would award most of the state's electoral college votes based on the outcome of a presidential race in each of the Washington's 10 congressional districts.
There
you go.
This is so insane.
Kevin and Melvin, it's exactly what you said.
This is so insane.
And this is House Bill 1091. Yeah. Is patterned after a system used in Nebraska and Maine.
This is so wrong. There's always like 2 counties or 3 counties that that drag us, out of being in Idaho, right? There's always the King County and Pierce County and Snohomish and Island and and San Juan. The rest of the state it's pretty red.
Colville and Deer Park are dragging you guys down. That's for sure.
Thank you, Colwell. Yeah. I know you so well. So that's something to watch for. How they're going to really rig the system. You know what? I can use the word rig the system to go their way. But ultimately, I think you're right, Melvin. You're right. I think the electoral college thing is out of date. The whole concept is so out of date. We need to revisit that.
Right. It's never bothered me until now.
Well, Go ahead. But then that goes into voter fraud. If we only count popular vote now, Well, okay. First of all, you're going to have like the other side it's gonna throw down a gauntlet on this, because if you count popular vote, the Democrats from now on is going to win every presidential election, because that's just the way it is.
Right.
So they're gonna fight like hell to.
But here's my problem with this. Okay, so the takeaway message from this push by Foster Friess, Matt Shea, people like this is not, we lost the election, so let's take a good look at our message. No, we lost the election, so we need to look at the way we distribute votes.
We need to change the rules.
Right.
We lost the election. We need to change the rules.
This is so unfair.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they're trying to win the election by not fixing the deeper philosophical and deeper policy related issues. They're trying to fix the election. They're trying to win the elections by just rigging the game.
The more hopeful part of me,
sort of like, I'm sorry, sort of like, the Kobayashi Maru thing, Captain Kirk passing the test by just rigging the system, which I like. I'm a Trekkie, okay, but it's sort of like that, which is I don't know why I even bring it up. So
no, that's fine.
Earl Grey hot, please. Yes.
The eternally hopeful part of me just hopes that the Republican Party, somewhere deep down, will see the need to change. You know what, guys? Maybe it's time to stop being misogynist. Maybe it's time to stop being racist. Maybe it's time we stop being homophobic.
Well, can I bring up something?
Maybe.
Maybe I can bring up something.
No. I was still in the moment. Wait,
petition. I mean, I always say, I think we all always say there are also things that going on our side, so-called, that really pisses us off. I heard something the other night about, people on our side attacking Colin Powell. I think, it's go ahead. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But right now, let that one go, because they are like, well, Colin Powell, why are you saying what you're saying? Because remember, you were the one who bring the vial of anthrax into the United Nations, blah 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 blah. You know what? Yes, that is a problem. But now that Colin Powell is trying to become I think he already is the voice of reason within the Republican Party.
Go ahead.
We should just help that happen by not trying to affect that process.
If somebody does wrong and then they realize their mistake and they come out and say, okay, I was wrong, they should get credit for that. Colin Powell is now saying, okay, I was wrong. So, and I think we need to recognize that and celebrate that, because what we're dealing with more often than not is people that are wrong finding out they're wrong and saying, no, I was right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
If I can say one more thing about that man, he won my admiration when he went on Meet the Press.
Right.
Yes, that's what it was.
Right.
Meet the Press,
right.
And they said something about a Muslim becoming president, and he looked right at them and said, "And what's wrong with that?"
So what if?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's 70 minutes. Let's come full circle and say.
Oh my God.
Let's come full circle and say I long for that the Republican parties will become a more reasonable group of people, and we will never see.
Could we go back to dare I say?
Hold on. We will never see the awful display of the Chuck Hagel hearing again.
Yes.
With the McCain and Lindsey Graham, because that stuff do nobody no good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
it is now time.
Well, it's now
the fire you can't put out. Dishonorable mention.
Okay, should I go first?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this is painful. This is absolutely painful. We are 3 days before the Super Bowl of 2013, which is the 2012 season. I have to dishonorable mention my certain players on my beloved San Francisco 49ers. and we all know who those are by now, who those people are by now. Chris Colliver, who came out and says, gays are not welcome in the locker room, blah, 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 blah. And the breaking news is 2 49ers who actually participated in the It Gets Better campaign, which is a anti-bullying against LGBT teens campaign. 2 of them came out and says, one says, I don't remember doing that ever. And then the other one says, I thought that's only for bullying. I thought that has nothing to do with LGBT teens. Coach Harbaugh, would you please just declare a curfew and just lock those guys up in the hotel and not have them talk to the press? Because it seems like it's not doing anybody any good. And these guys, obviously, they all need to go take some sociology classes in the off season, right? But, right now, let's focus on the game because what I don't understand what the hell they're doing. Number one, why the hell are they talking to the press like that? The other one is why obviously these guys are not capable of talking any sense when there's a mic. So you know what? Don't let them do that. Let's focus on the game, right? I'm even more angry because I'm a huge 49er fan, huge, insane. All right, I'm a Bay Area sports guy. All right, Giants, Niners, and they are really. I mean, these 3 guys are really screwing up my fun. Because when I'm Sunday, here comes the Super Bowl, when I just scream and yell and support my team, on the back of my head there will be a voice that says, "Wait a minute, somebody in this somebody on this team is have these really anti-gay thing going on." So that's really screwing me up. Okay, so Coach Harbaugh, please, sir, deal with it and get some of these guys to, I don't know, San Francisco State or San Jose State or wherever there is a college, whatever college in the Bay Area, and have them sit them down, take some sensitivity training, and get some sociology classes, okay? Go Niners. That's all I'm saying.
Dare I say on to the next one. Angela?
Yes, sir.
Brent Reagan, Coeur d'Alene School Board member. Isn't Obama black and scary looking? He's black, right? And scary looking. Nothing racist about pointing that out.
Wait. Angela, can you give us a little bit background on this? What the heck's going on?
This guy is unplugged. He's a member of the Coeur d'Alene,
Idaho.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Yeah, I do need to say that for our listeners in Hong Kong.
There's nobody, because nobody, even in the U.S., know where Coeur d'Alene is.
Okay. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Okay, so if you think it's racist to say that Obama is black and scary looking, it might be that you're actually racist yourself.
Yeah.
He made this comment at a forum on God-given assault rifle rights in Coeur d'Alene, referring to the supporters of gun control. My wife and I were having this conversation, and I said they can't figure out what an assault weapon is. It's just black and it looks scary. And she looks at me and says, well, so is Obama.
Okay.
Okay.
On to the next one. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Okay. Well, I am now moving my dishonorable mention. My next one, I've got 2, but I'm gonna do this one first. Wayne LaPierre.
Oh no!
Oh,
for God's sake, why?
Okay. Well, let me say something.
Because it connects to what I just said.
They say that they're standing up for the rights of gun owners, but here's the thing: in the most recent CBS poll, I can't remember if it was 92 or 93% of the American people said that they were for universal background checks. Okay, with the exception of sunny days and orgasms, is there anything that 92% of the American people agree on? There isn't, but they all agree on background checks. And he's been going up in front of the cameras and saying the most insane things. I call him Mr. Murder, because that seems to be his only job, is making sure that as many people as possible get killed.
Well, let me say this. I don't understand why Well, first of all, it's unfair to say this because I don't really know if there's actually a coalition on the pro-gun side, a tight coalition. Looks like the NRA is kind of the organization, right?
Yeah.
Who the hell within the NRA, go back to PR again, who the hell in the NRA thinks they should push the Peter out there? That's what that's what Mike Malloy says.
It's Wayne's World, I guess.
Who he has to be one of the most hated person in America, if not the world, right now, right? But who within NRA think it's a good idea to push him to do all this stuff for their side? Because that's not going to do them any good.
It's not for their side. It's for the gun manufacturers of America.
True.
And all the gun shops in America are completely sold out. And every time he gets in front of the cameras and goes, they're coming for your guns.
Yeah.
The guns, you can't find guns or ammos or anything in it. So you know what? Who's pushing him out? Well, the people that are paying his paycheck, the gun manufacturers of America. Because, he's doing his job. They're making tons of money, hand over fist right now.
Well, I guess.
How much can you say paranoia and fear-mongering? And it happened elsewhere this week. Okay, so my lightning round, one of them, is the hecklers at the hearings.
Yes.
Okay, so we have these parents who have lost their children.
Yeah.
In a massacre in an elementary school.
How is it possible?
And this gentleman gets up and he's lost his child, and I don't know which parent it was now, and I don't know which child it was. I do know that at least one of those children was shot 11 times. Okay? Yeah. And if that doesn't make anybody's heart just sink, then they don't have a heart.
And there are, just today, there are two.
And they're heckling him. As he gives his testimony, they're shouting, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment.
Which
really?
I'm so sick and tired of this. I'm sorry, that's not what the Second Amendment said.
No.
Gosh, I can see this gun thing is not going away anytime soon.
No, nope.
Because we keep bringing.
We can't stay away from it.
Well, and then just today, there are two more gun related incidents.
Yes, Phoenix.
And there's one down in Atlanta, I think.
Oh, maybe Phoenix was yesterday.
I mean, there's, what, it really doesn't. They're all over the place. It happens every day.
One of the high school kids that just performed at Obama's inauguration was just gunned down the other day. Here is my idea for the universal background check. I will ask, do you need a high-capacity magazine and an assault weapon to protect yourself from your government? If you say yes, then you're insane.
Disqualified.
Then you're insane. You don't get a gun. Sorry, you are now on the blacklist. You do not get to buy a gun.
Right.
You're gonna have to cross the border or something.
You have heard Hartman's thing on this. Tom Hartman's thing on this on the Second Amendment.
About the slave owners.
No.
Okay, go ahead then.
Okay, so Second Amendment. Lots of history here, and one of these days we're just going to take on the history of the Second Amendment and the way that it's been interpreted over time and why it actually came into being, because I think that's really important. But Tom Hartman pointed out something the other day that made so much sense about this. He said, why would our founders put an amendment into our Constitution telling us how to overthrow the government? Logically?
Well.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. Why would they spend so much time and so much effort creating something and then put in an amendment saying, hopefully someday this gets destroyed?
Well,
exactly.
Well, I think that's a totally different discussion.
It is.
We can pick it apart. We can pick apart the Second Amendment in one of the upcoming show. But this gun thing is not going away because it's just it's just crazy. I mean, the arguments are right now. It's just insane. So it's never going to stop.
So Kevin, do you have one more lightning round?
No, that's all I have.
I've got one more lightning round. I've got something real quick to say, and then I want to move on to you, Ms. Angela. The Conference of Catholic Bishops have filed a brief with the Supreme Court arguing in favor of discrimination. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Wait,
hold on. Hey, hold on. Everybody stop. Let me check my iPhone. What year is this? Okay, hold on there. 2013. What?
It's not the Middle Ages. No.
What? They filed Supreme Court briefs against the overturn of DOMA and Proposition 8, stating that the court, which has upheld laws forbidding private consensual homosexual conduct between adults, lack a rational basis. It does not follow that the government has a constitutional duty to encourage or endorse such conduct. Thus, governments may legitimately decide to further the interests of opposite sex unions only. Now, they made briefs for each case. Now, obviously, DOMA and Prop 8 are going before the Supreme Court. And I don't think most people know this, but the Supreme Court gets to pick what cases go before them. They don't have to take every case. But they have taken this case because obviously it's a 5-4 court. It's gonna be and it's gonna be more than likely decided in favor of conservatives. And so
you never know. I mean, you never know.
Well, you're right, because I was surprised by how they ruled on Obamacare. Yeah. The Conference of Catholic Bishops is filed this case, obviously, and I'm a non-theist, but there was a time that I was a theist, and what I remember learning is about God and God's love. And I don't know. Now, I mean, we can scoff at it, obviously, and I'm not there anymore. But to think that these men who are leaders in the church are standing up for discrimination, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Okay. I want to move on real quick, and then we're going to get to Angela. 2016. Is it too soon to start talking about 2016? I say yes. It is way too soon to start talking about 2016. That said, let's talk about 2016. A super PAC has actually got registered this week. A pro-Hillary, the Ready for Hillary super PAC. You can find them on Facebook. They've already got over 31,000 likes. The Ready for Hillary super PAC is now formed, and they have a website, and you can go there and start supporting Hillary Clinton for president right now. Now, Obama just got inaugurated again last week. We are in an economy now that is propped up by two things: elections and wars. Like, that's where all of our money goes. And the Ready for Hillary campaign, I'm a fan on Facebook. Go Hill 2016.
Well, I have to say I do like the idea of Elizabeth Warren. So, being running for president. So that she's
a great vice president.
I'm going to stop there. So,
all right.
Okay, so
we're going to have one thing that is kind of a segue into what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because it's one more
okay.
dishonorable.
Let's do it quick. It's like we're at 85
Governor
minutes.
Pat McCrory, North Carolina.
Yes.
He actually came out Tuesday and said he was drafting legislation to shift higher education funding toward career-oriented fields and away from academic pursuits that have no chance of getting people jobs, specifically liberal arts.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that, Kevin.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's
right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
He questioned the value of a PhD in philosophy and women's studies and gender studies.
Well, he questioned it?
Oh, yes, the validity of those.
Well, you know what? Maybe he just doesn't know anything. Maybe he just doesn't know what they are. I'm sorry. Sometimes like some people who are against like certain studies, maybe you have no freaking idea what they are.
So that leads me to my literary corner.
Well, let's let me do the intro. So that's for now for something completely different and hopefully lighter. Well, by the way, let me bring back this. The dishonorable mention lightning round. So far, it's not working that well.
It's not as lightning as I would like it to be, but we're working on it.
Anyway,
for
something completely different,
and
hopefully this one is not patterned by the Monty Python, which
would be fun.
Here is Angela's Literary Corner.
This week was the 50th anniversary of the death of poet Robert Frost. He was 88 years old when he died, and a lot of people believed when he was writing that he actually was an old school kind of poet, because he rhymed because he spent a lot of his poetry talking about experiences in nature. This is really dear to my heart because I am a romantic literature scholar. And he reminds me so much of 18th century poets and writers from England, 19th century writers from America who were romantics and who did write a lot about nature. The fun thing about Robert Frost, in my opinion, is you can't pin him down. And good poetry, in my opinion, is something you really can't pin down. But Robert Frost wrote such great works, some of them Stopping by Woods on Snowy Evening. One of my favorites, The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. And there's a line or two from this poem, as from another poem, Mending Wall, that gets used as mottos for high school graduations without really considering what the context of the poem is. And the interesting thing about Robert Frost is you can't pin him down. He himself in his journals said he liked to leave his toys out where people would trip over them. He wanted to give you a metaphor and then make you wrestle with it. And I think he did such a spectacularly good job of it. One of the interesting things that came out this week was there's a rare collection of his writing that surfaced. And the Reichert family, long friends of him, released it into the public domain through the University of New York, State University of New York at Buffalo. And one of the things in it is a sermon that he gave at a synagogue. He wasn't Jewish. But one of the things they've never been able to pin down is what he thought about religion. So here are some words from his sermon at a synagogue, and I'm just going to leave you all with that. Now, religion always seems to me to come around to something beyond wisdom. It is the straining of the spirit forward to a wisdom beyond wisdom.
Okay. I got something for you, Angela.
What's that?
You know, one of the, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening.
Yes.
Do you know that? You know that poem, right?
Right.
You know you can sing that, right?
No.
Okay. Which woods there are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me slopping there to watch it one fill with the snow. Olay. That's what it is.
Ha ha ha.
Okay,
anyway. I might actually cut that out.
I love it.
Okay, well, that's this week's show. That's this week's show. And before the show ends, let me ask you guys a quick question.
Yes.
Do you know what is the closest distance between 2 points?
Straight line.
No, it's cash. See you next week.
Oh, bye everybody.
Trick question.